with these changes being somewhat large, how do companies ensure success through this whole process?
Good follow-up question. Again, one of the key staples is we hadn't really touched on very much yet is the need for governance. Mm-hmm. So everybody's heard the old adage of garbage in, garbage out. So we can put the same bad data or garbage into a new cloud platform very easily, and it's going to have the same pain points. So a governance is a key component out of the gate to start addressing it. And that starts, again, with what we've already talked about, the people, the process, and the technology. That often includes starting with a steering committee or a center of excellence or center of enablement. To have an executive level group making data a strategic priority and a strategic asset for the business. So once that group is there, oftentimes we will boil it down a little bit lower and have a data steward, a new kind of buzzword term, assigned for each department. Somebody in the department who is a data geek at heart, who wants to kind of challenge the status quo and who wants to be an enabler and give me the first one through the wall. I want to test it, have that energy. So it needs to be more than just an IT push. It needs to be a business project. So the other, once we talked about the data governance and kind of get that going, the other key pillars to success are, again, what we talked about before, aligning with the business capabilities. What is the business trying to accomplish? The project cannot drift into la-la land and say, hey, we just built all this new stuff and data lakes and massive new integrations and MPP models, and the business is going to go, that's more than we need, or that's not even remotely what we talked about or we think we need. So again, it's aligning with the business, and that very closely that follows with, okay, what's the business strategic needs and pillars? Okay, what are the right data analytics, modern initiatives that tie to each one of those pillars?
Right.
If the business says, hey, our primary focus is customer right now, and it's not product, okay, then we definitely should focus on getting customer data and advanced customer segmentation and promotional targeting going way before we do on maybe a deeper dive on the actual product analytics. So it's tying with the business, staying tied to the business, and making sure that the data analytics modernization projects, or even sub projects, if you will, align with the business's priorities. We already kind of touched on this. The third one is the people in the organization. Understanding, does the current team, leadership, data stewards have the capacity and the skills to go with the new tools that we may introduce? A new cloud data warehouse. How do they query that? How do they access that? How do we ensure that it's secure? So there is a certain level of, again, people, process, and technology aspect to this that has to be vetted out to ensure success. I mean, those three pillars are very, very key. And last but not least, again, back to the technology. I think I'm on number 4 now. The architecture and the actual tools, right? What do we want to do if we're trying to get them off-prem or into a multi-cloud? What are the right tools and architecture needed? Do they need a data lake because they have a really advanced team of data scientists that need just raw data? Don't give me all the downstream stuff. They want to get their hands in everything and do their own massaging. Do they need that raw zone, or they don't? Their data size is much smaller. They don't even have a terabyte of data. They probably don't need a full-blown Azure Synapse data warehouse. Probably a SQL DB in the cloud would work just fine, and they're going to save some money on that. So that's when you get to the architecture and the tools, kind of after you've made your business alignment, the data analytics modernization projects and tasks aligned to those strategic pillars, and you assess the people in the organization, the process. Then you really get to the technology and the tools.